James's dinner isn't so fancy today. We're going to be talking about Silent Witness Season 6, and James wanted me to show you the garden from his angle, sort of.
Yeah, especially the sunflowers are
very pretty.
Taller than I am.
Yeah.
And, fifth is pretty well the same height. Sixth is about eye level.
So,
but there are some tomatoes that are almost as tall as the corn. I never thought I'd see that, because corn I think of as being very tall and grew tall in Africa where I was born.
well, it depends on the variety.
The tomatoes.
And corn.
And the corn. Yeah, they're dwarf varieties or whatever they're called.
Of both.
Yeah,
so there's corn that I have in the peat bales that will only get 3 feet tall. That's it.
They're really cute. And what did you say they were called?
Well, there's 2 different varieties. One of them is has a blue cob, and the other one has variegated leaves with pink and white and green. So
yeah, she was showing those to me, and they look pretty impressive, even at a not really developed stage, right? So they look a little bit like those Dracaena plants.
They do, sort of. They're very ornamental.
Yep.
So if you're...
And it's good if you can combine ornamental with utilitarian purposes.
So let's...
I think tomatoes are relatively ornamental. They get nice, subtle yellow flowers on them. I suppose they're always yellow, are they? There was that are exceptions.
I have never seen any with any other color.
Yeah, but I like that yellow color.
But anyway, yeah, there's dwarf varieties of tomato, like Tiny Tims, which we're growing this year, which are cute little fellas, but not here. These ones are big ones, but some of them back here are determinate and some are indeterminate, because I used the tomatoes that I planted, or most of the tomatoes that I planted were from a tray that I had labeled 2017 peat bale row. I believe that's what it was called. And
that's at your place, right?
And so I thought, oh well, I may as well plant them, see if anything comes up, and they all came up. And I tend to plant the indeterminate tomatoes in my peat bale row, because my peat bale row is right against my house, so I can train them to grow up
You've got a trellis there made out of netting.
Yeah, so that works out really well. But
I've never seen them have trouble. They don't seem to want to sprawl onto the road.
No,
or
but
alley.
I've done a bad job of actually doing the work this year.
This year?
So they might be sprawling because I haven't actually tied them up.
So indeterminate, in terms of terminology, means kind of like sprawling.
Well, they just keep growing.
Oh, okay.
So determinant,
well, that's
they have
what it means.
Yeah.
Not ending. Yeah.
Yeah. So determinant varieties, you'll have a specific height that they'll reach, and then they start blooming and fruiting, and they do their thing. But,
all that good stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. And then there are some varieties that will ripen all at the same time, because they've been bred to do that. So
those ones are tough. If you've got a big industrial strength garden, like we had in Sterling, we used to own an acre.
I believe Marglobe is one of those. I don't know if I have any Marglobe. I tried to plant some, so maybe we'll find out. There was one that was surviving for a long time, and we were like, well, maybe it might make it. Because I was using old seeds, right?
Yeah.
And
well,
then
you had good reaction with the old seeds.
Yeah. And then because I had a lot of 2012 tomato seeds come up.
So that's over 10 years old.
Yeah. So, but unfortunately,
what happened to the Margot?
Well, I don't know. It might be there, and if I see it, then that's great. But see, what happened was a lot of my tomatoes got the marker somehow disappeared on their containers. Yeah. So,
well, they weren't waterproof, possibly, is that?
Well, it was waterproof marker. I don't know if the sunlight bleached them out, or...
Sun could do something like that, yeah.
I don't know what happened.
Combination of it and water.
And I did see them getting fainter, and I should have rewritten like every day until...
Well, you were busy.
But somehow some of them disappeared, and I was like, oh man.
Yeah.
And then another
The
thing
important
happened.
thing about that is because she wants to save a lot of the
Yeah.
seeds. So,
And another thing happened that sometimes the tomatoes, the seeds weren't coming up. For a long time, some of them, they weren't coming up. And so I replanted with herbs, and then the tomatoes came up. So what I'd done is I'd erased the marker with using rubbing alcohol. So those ones were completely gone. And then they came up, and I was like, oh man, now I don't know what you are, right? So I knew approximately like where they were in where I kept them. And then I was like, well, they're probably either this, or this, right? So I have a number of things so maybe we'll, maybe we have. But anyway, we have a lot of wonderful tomatoes in the garden. I'm very happy about that. So,
well, it's like 350.
Yeah.
Over 350 in, and we're saying 350 because I think that's how many are surviving now.
Yeah, but it's amazing because sometimes in the garden I've only seen like one of one kind, and I'm like, wow, I just have one of you somehow survive the process from seed to, or I guess from
planting, but it involved transplanting at least once, right? I think some of them several times.
I lost quite a few.
It's like a death in the family.
Yeah, it really is.
More for Pauline than for me.
But if I have one come up and I save the seeds from it, then I have more for later so that's great.
Potentially in perpetuity.
Yeah, well, we'll see. So, or until I decide to stop growing it, I suppose. But they're members of the family. They'll stick around a long time.
Well, you can stop growing them, but you can save the seeds. And
you were saying this one was 2002, right? And that's what the back said.
MMII.
So, season 6, this one has Sam instead of Nikki. So
that's kind of the boss person, eh?
Well, she's a coroner or something. I guess she
seems to have the lead role, or whatever.
London University Professor of Forensic Pathology. That's what she is.
Pretty impressive. Yeah.
So, what do you think of Sam compared to Nikki?
Very different. It seems more realistic for someone who's going to be in something like a leadership role. But I like both, But Nikki might have been chosen maybe more for her looks. Sam is not, wasn't cast for her looks, although she's pleasant.
She's lovely.
Looking now.
Yep. Anyway, and well, I didn't really care for this season. James liked it more than I did.
I liked it way more than Pauline did.
Yeah.
It's not something that, if I never saw another thing again, I wouldn't feel all cut up.
They don't have, like the forensic team in this one, they don't have a great working
relationship?
Yeah.
Well, maybe that's realistic. They had 2 new recruits. Yeah. Like, wasn't Harry new this year?
I'm not sure. Yeah.
I think Leo, I think, was too. So
I think he was.
Sometimes it's hard to get things working. They're coming from a different. Harry might have been coming out of, training, and Leo.
So maybe that's realistic too. And one thing I didn't like is, like Leo was telling Sam, well, you don't mind your business with the police matters or whatever, you stick your nose in.
That was pretty cheeky, as the English say.
And then, so in that episode, I don't know if we're supposed to feel like, oh, she should have minded her business. Because I sure didn't feel like that in that episode. I was thinking, no, the person at fault was that woman police officer who was a total jerk, the blonde.
Oh, she was way out of line. She should have been actually,
because she was in charge, and she hid the fact that that she had 2 police officers on the scene of this terrible multi-car pileup.
4 vehicles also. I think it was a truck or van, and 3 passenger cars.
Well, there were multiple deaths, and because of this thing, and so the policewoman, she'd hid that fact that she had 2 officers there on the scene, and
they were culpable.
And it turned out that yes, they were, spoiler alert, they caused the problem.
Yeah.
They caused the accident. They did it deliberately because they wanted to slow down. They wanted to stop a suspect who was driving from getting to another person that they were trying to prosecute or whatever. So
We won't tell
totally
you what kind
wrong.
of nasty business.
Totally in the
involved.
wrong. You can't do that. Like if you're a police officer, you can't just go causing an accident. So that's ridiculous. So at the end of the episode, there's 2 dead girls in the trunk because they were the people that they were trying to catch were human traffickers. Okay, so there's
Spoiler alert.
2 dead girls in the trunk, and the officer's trying to make Sam feel like look, this is your fault, because if you hadn't interfered, you wouldn't have been there. We wouldn't have had to rush in on him, and he would have gotten to these girls and whatever, right? But do you really feel like it's Sam's fault at the end? I sure didn't, watching that. And especially you think, okay, well, there's 2 people dead in the trunk. All right, does that compare to the woman dead with her and pregnant, so her baby's dead? The children in the back seat of another vehicle dead. Does that compare to that? No. So there's that episode that I didn't care for. I'm like, what are they trying to say here?
Over here, I don't know what English law enforcement is like. Those guys would be up for charges.
Yeah.
There's a cop up for murder charges for shooting into a vehicle that was trying to escape or something like that. Guess killed someone.
And well, they were trying to pin it on somebody else. They were trying to, because the police officer woman, she was, if her officers didn't plant the evidence, well, she was hiding, right? She was hiding the fact that they were even there.
Yeah.
So
she hid evidence.
Yeah.
She should be
and
fired and actually
she stopped.
prosecuted.
Like somebody had told her exactly what happened. He saw the whole thing, right?
Yeah.
And she's just like, oh well, we know what happened.
Yeah.
And so later he says, why haven't any charges been laid? Because I told exactly, I saw what happened. And so that's how this team ended up finding out about what really happened.
Yeah, they did a good job of presenting it. They kind of presented it as looking really like a flake.
Mm-hmm.
It helped. And then you're going, did he actually see this?
Exactly.
Like,
so they did tell that story well.
Oh yeah, that was a good misdirect.
So I guess that's true. Maybe I should go, well, they tell the story well, because there were times when there was so much going on in that episode at the beginning, and at one point James said, okay, who was the one who planted that alcohol container? And I was like, God, I can't remember, and so we're talking about it, how we're talking about how eyewitness testimony, of course they can't really go by that, because here we are watching it and we can't even remember when we're trying to, we're trying to solve the mystery, right?
When something's happening in real time, you don't know it's a crime. There was one time, Christmas time, I was at Greyhound Depot in Calgary, and huge lineups. All of a sudden, the lineups start piling back towards me. And what's running through the crowd is someone has a knife and they pulled it up at the front of one of the lineups.
Oh, but wow.
People don't know, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And, stuff. You're not expecting there to be a crime.
No.
So you're not alert to things.
Yeah.
You're just saying, man, oh man, why did I choose this particular day to travel?
Was there another episode that bothered you in this?
I can't say any of them really bothered me,
Oh, okay.
This stuff kind of captured my interest.
Oh, I think I just killed a spider mite. I didn't mean to, but anyway.
You got a lot of chickadee fans in the background there.
I love hearing them. They're so sweet. Anyway, I don't know what else to talk about with this.
Well, what were some of the other ones? There was one, most recent one, I think that we were watching this morning. There was a situation where...
Oh, with the police that had the police in training?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there was I think that was the same one with the, maybe that was different. There was one episode where a woman at the university was really being forward
yes.
with Harry. That was hilarious.
She was, well, she was getting around with all sorts of people and whatever. That episode, right? Yeah.
So she ended up being more promiscuous than Harry is, for greatest me. She had about 4 guys on the go.
Yes, and one of them was Benedict Cumberbatch. Yeah.
We're not going to mention what happens to him or happened to him.
So
at the beginning of his career, because he's done fairly well for
oh,
us.
and yeah, I don't think either of us really cared for that episode with the police guys in training, because we both felt like, no, you can't do that. That guy's got to be up. They got to try to get him charged.
The ending. So spoiler alert, folks. You know.
Yeah.
That would not happen. But
I would hope it wouldn't. I don't know. Anyway.
People would be too afraid of doing it and then being caught.
All right, so you have about 13 minutes to talk about anything you want to. Do you want to talk about anything?
I just want to finish up these spring rolls because I'm hungry. We had a nice little...
Okay.
Well, we can talk about our little hike that we had.
Oh, to see the baby turtles. So sweet.
So you've heard us kind of...
Worried about the turtles?
Lamenting about the turtles. And I think there were a lot of adults that died, but...
I don't
Holy
know.
smokes.
But there still are a few adults there, too.
But lots of offspring. It's stunning.
Yep. So, all is well in turtle world.
And we saw some spoonbill ducks.
Yeah, that was nice.
And we saw a red-tailed hawk, or at least I... Yeah, you finally saw it, right? It was...
Well, it was right above my head, so...
Yeah.